Hello, everybody. I hope you're well. So, assembly today, I'm reading a book. It's a lovely book, recently discovered, and I hope you enjoy it. It's all about kindness, and it's about how excluding somebody can make them feel really unhappy. And you often don't realize it when you exclude somebody that you are doing that because it's not intentional. It's something that happens accidental. And like my previous assembly where I talked about bullying, it is actually a form of bullying, excluding somebody and unknowingly excluding somebody over and over again can be a form of bullying. So it's linked to that. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the story and I'll see you at the end. Bye. The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig. Illustrated by Patrice Barton. Lovely colour. I wonder what he's drawing. Oh, you can see him there again. He's drawing something on the floor. Oh, that's a nice page. You can see the drawings that maybe the character's drawn. So maybe it's about a little boy who likes to draw. Oh, wow, I can see a shark, a crocodile. What else can you spot? Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. It's a great contrast, isn't it? You can see the really noisy people on one side and then Brian, the invisible boy, on the other. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first, then the best friends of the best players, then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. That's a horrible feeling, being picked last. I know, because it's happened to me, and I'm sure lots of you know about it as well. I don't know what kickball is, though. I wonder if anybody's played that. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. Oh, poor Brian. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. The rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. That was the best pool party ever. I'm so glad you guys had fun, says Madison. Everybody did, except Brian. He wasn't invited. Poor Brian. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table, doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings. Thank you for toasting my marshmallow. Greedy pirates digging for treasure. Space aliens locked in intergalactic battles. And superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. Hi! Hi, friend. Have a cookie. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. What's that? Asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. It's bulgogi. What? Bulgogi. It's Korean barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some? Ugh, there's no way I'd eat boogergi. And the kids laugh. All of them. That is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Justin, I thought the bulgogi looked good. Brian, yum. Oh, that's really nice. Brian's drawn him a picture. At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing. You're Brian, right? Yeah. Thanks for the note. Hey, Justin, Amelia calls out from the tetherball court. You're up next. Sorry, I gotta go, says Justin. By the way, what a really cool drawing, he adds, before taking off. But back in class, Mrs. Carlotti asks the kids to team up in 2s or 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off. Brian heads towards Justin. I'm already with Justin, says Emilio. Find someone else. Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio, let's work with us. Okay, I guess. I do like, have you noticed the way that the character is going? So he's black and white, Brian, but then when he's touched by Justin, we can see colour coming into him. I wonder why that is. Mrs. Carlotti gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in the photograph. Use your imagination and have fun. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, said Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. Wow, and look at them working together. And all that work. They all seem so happy as well. Great drawings. Don't know how he's managed to incorporate a dinosaur and a shark into his work, but hey, there we go. It says at the top, hi, I'm the narrator, and if you're wondering why a pirate got the part of a narrator, I'll tell you. It's all in the agent. Well, now, on with the tale. Who knows? Looks good though. It's lunchtime again. Brian's least favourite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. Brian! He heard someone shout out. Hey, Brian, over here! Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. Cookie? Thanks. Maybe. Just maybe. Brian's not so invisible after all. And we can see Brian's in full colour there. And that's the end of the story. These are the end papers. It shows that Brian is obviously very popular now and is drawing pictures for everybody in the class. And he's a friend. There we go. What a lovely book. I hope you enjoyed it. What a great story and what fantastic artwork. I really like the way that the character started off black and white and then by the end of the story he became full colour. And I think that was the way the author and the illustrator did that is because actually at the beginning he was invisible, so people weren't noticing him, and so he's very black and white. And then by the end of the story, he turns full colour because people recognise him and people know him. Now, in that story, the exclusions, they didn't seem to be deliberate. It was almost like because he was quiet, then he'd been overlooked. And that does happen sometimes. So make sure that if there are people that you know and that are in your class who are quiet, maybe they would like to be included. It might be that they don't, but it may be that they do, and it may be that they feel excluded. And feeling excluded isn't very nice. It's quite it can make you feel really sad inside, and it can make you feel cross with the people that exclude you, even though they might not know that they're doing it. So this assembly's been about kindness, really, and it's about looking out for each other and making sure that the people in our classes are happy. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you around school. Take lots of care. Bye.